Corner at this time, here is Ronnie Hines.
Ronnie Hines, 28 years of age, fighting with DAZN Entertainment for the first time as he brings in a 12-0-1 record to the ring. 8 knockouts, coming off a near 12-month layoff as he was last in action back in December against the fighter we were talking about moments ago, Helaman O'Queen. He earned a majority draw. And several fights have fallen through here in 2023 for Hines, but he is here now, and quite simply, he's an undefeated heavyweight who has the look of someone that, again, can run with the big boys in this division. But there are a lot of unknowns about Hines' skills. Some of those questions about to be answered here on Broadway Boxing. And I think one of the biggest questions is how Hines will look early on in this fight against an aggressively frustrating Jonathan Gruber.
I like Gruber, and Gruber's, a smaller, I'm a lot older than you, Justin. When I was growing up, 6'2", 220 was a pretty decent heavyweight. But
you were massive, right? You were 6'2".
Yeah, not bad, right? In today's day and age of the super heavyweight, Gruber's basically undersized in every fight. That's the bad news. The good news is coming off that loss, he's had 2 fights against much bigger heavyweights where he's given up 20 or 30 pounds, and he's won in style. So this, I think, is a real litmus test for him. Is he really going to be moving to that contender role, or is he just going to get that one level?
Ladies and gentlemen, our next contest of the evening takes place inside of 6 rounds in the heavyweight division. Arthur Mercanti is the referee in charge of the action. Our ringside judges are John Bazili, John McKay, and Marcel Varela. It is brought to you by DAZN Entertainment, sponsored by Optics, Christo's Steakhouse, Azad Watches, Nissan of Queens, and Drexel Hamilton. Drexel Hamilton, thank you for your military service and your continued commitment and support for veterans. Introducing the competitors at this time. First, out of the blue corner, hailing from Fall River, Massachusetts, standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 220.8 pounds, entering this contest with a record at 5-1, 2 out of 5 victories by way of knockout, ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Gruber. And his opponent, competing out of the red corner, from Cleveland, Ohio, standing 6 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at an even 245 pounds, entering this contest with a record of 12-0-1, 8 out of 12 victories by way of knockout, ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie Hines. We go to referee Arthur Mercanti for the instructions for both competitors.
Good evening, gentlemen. We went over the rules earlier. I expect you to obey these rules. Let's have a nice, clean fight. Touch gloves. Good luck to the both of you.
Arthur Mercanti, third man in the ring. And this is a small ring, 16 by 16 for these 2 heavyweights as we get going. Between Ronnie Hines in the red and black trunks and Jonathan Gruber in the blue trunks with the white trim. And you could see that height advantage as Hines towers over Gruber.
That ring just started to look a whole lot smaller, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Gruber with no hesitation, running in and landing a few punches, both left hands and right hands, against Ronnie Hines. And Hines trying to reset, and we are already seeing Gruber switch from orthodox to southpaw in the opening seconds of this fight. Standing in southpaw now. It's one of the parts that could frustrate a heavyweight opponent when your counterpart can switch stances on a dime like Gruber can.
Yep.
Hines catches him with the right hand as Gruber was leaning in. Good 1-2 combo from Hines, and he really doesn't have to move his feet, Chris. That reach,
yeah.
Providing some serious advantages for Ronnie Hines. And Gruber's got a look on his face almost like, okay, how am I going to get past this right now?
Yep.
Along with Chris Santos, I'm Justin Shackle. We thank you for joining us here on Broadway Boxing from Edison Ballroom. in the center of Times Square, New York City, for Heroes on the Hudson. Ronnie Hines in the red trunks against Jonathan Gruber in the blue, as we bring you the action leading up to the return of Jamel Herring to the ring. He'll be in action later tonight, 8 rounds against Nick Molina.
Gruber sort of nodding at Hines as if to say, okay, I feel you. I got you. Let's do this. Nice body shot there by Hines. Heavyweights don't go to the body enough. There's so much of it.
It's right there in front of you. And Hines taking advantage of that reach and a 1-2 combo to the body.
There you go.
From Ronnie Hines.
There you go. Just listen.
Again, small ring, short distance between Chris Santos and Ronnie Hines at the moment. And this is the beauty of those club shows, Chris. We just heard a glass break.
We did. And as a restaurant owner, that to me is that's the son of money just disappearing.
And Ronnie Hines 12-0-1. Gruber at 5-1. Gruber has won back-to-back fights since being stopped by Michael Puritan.
Mercanti warning Hines for I'm not sure what, but Hines definitely gave him a little bit of a side eye there.
Good evasiveness from Ronnie Hines at the end of round 1. Good looking first round from Ronnie Hines as we take a look at some of the action from the opening bell.
Hines looking a little smoother in there. A little more relaxed, perhaps.
Start of round 2 between Ronnie Hines and Jonathan Gruber. There you see on the bottom left side of your screen a QR code in order for you viewers to donate to the cause here. Heroes on the Hudson, we're benefiting emerging vets and players of the West Point Society of New York. Help a veteran out. As Hines comes in and unloads the healthy combo against Gruber. Ronnie Hines has the experience here. He's been on Showbox several times when he was first starting out as a pro. Fought in big arenas. Fought on a Caleb Plant undercard at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. But that inactivity. Fought 3 times in 2022. He's been inactive since last December. Overall, just 6 matches in 3 years. Not the type of rate and activity that anybody would like. Hines will admit that.
You know, he's a prospect, right? And he's 34. Again, how things have changed since I started loving the sport so many decades ago. You know, at 34, that is a prospect at a heavyweight. Well, maybe it's a slightly older, but 34 used to be, you know, oh, they're done, they're finished. Now it's they can just get started.
Again, Gruber's having a tough time trying to find an opening to get inside on Hines. He's met with punches like that from Ronnie Hines. Ronnie's been in boxing since he was 9. He went 67-7 as an amateur. Winner of the National Golden Gloves, the Junior Olympics. Both of these fighters have dabbled in MMA. Gruber started out in MMA, but it's strictly been boxing for several years now as Ronnie Hines unloads on a 2-punch combo. Peppering the body with that jab, a stab jab from Ronnie Hines. This is going to be a really tough fight for Gruber if he can't get inside or at least a little bit closer to Ronnie Hines.
Yeah, and Hines is being very patient, which I like. He's definitely taking his time, looking for the right openings. And matter of fact, the referee here, Arthur Mercanti, just kind of urged them to throw a little leather. But I actually like the patient approach from Hines. You know, in his last fight, whatever he was doing wasn't working. So I kind of like that he's taking his time. And he also has the very experienced Manny Robles in his corner tonight as well. who I think would also preach that patient approach, at least for the first couple rounds.
Gruber eats a left hand, and then Hines goes back and digs a right hand into the body.
Well, as we saw with Gruber and Piratone, he can take a shot.
Not too much room for these heavyweights to roam in a 16-by-16 ring as round number 2 comes to a close. Ronnie Hines keeping an effective distance from Jonathan Gruber through 2 rounds.
I think you're seeing here that Gruber's a very gritty competitor, but when it comes to skill level, I think Hines maybe a class above. You can see that here in this replay. Hines with a much more effective punching and footwork. But Gruber is not going to go quietly into that good night, as they say.
Jonathan Gruber weighing in at just under 221 for this fight. Again, an MMA fighter turned boxer, likes to frustrate his opponents, but when you have the height advantage that Ronnie Hines has, some of those tactics are automatically taken away as we begin round number 3. As Ronnie Hines is going for his first win here in 14 months and improved to 13-0. He lands a couple of left hands on Gruber to start off the third.
Hines opening up here in a big way to start off the third.
He might have Gruber hurt. Gruber trying to regroup, and Hines, again, fighting at that effective distance.
Extremely active start to the round, but Gruber is almost snarling at him in defiance.
It's almost as if Gruber's, again, trying to find a relentless way to get inside. Hines is comfortable here, and he's not completely acceptive of himself going right in front of Gruber. But we saw at the start of round 3, it could be pretty effective. Ronnie Hines standing at 6'6". Good angle for a heavyweight as Hines lands a left hand upstairs against Gruber. And Ronnie Hines controlling the action so far in this scheduled 6-rounder.
Hines looking very relaxed here in this round. Really settling in. Gruber switching stances, looking for any kind of an answer to be able to get past that long jab and that southpaw stance.
And Hines moving his feet well. This is an athletic 6'6" heavyweight.
Nice jab there.
Gruber holding on. And Hines dealing with a lighter opponent here. Wasn't too long ago in some of the more recent fights for Ronnie Hines that he was dispatching fighters like Luis Pascal, who was north of 300 pounds. He also picked up a win via DQ against Craig Lewis, who weighed in at 280. Gruber more agile, better with his cardio, but Hines finding an effective distance to fight at here, locking up Gruber for the most part and having his way with that reach advantage.
Yeah, and Gruber's deceptively athletic. You look at him, you look at his body, you think, okay, this guy's not in the best shape or whatever, but this is who he is. This is what he looks like. He is in shape. He can go rounds. He can be active. So, you cannot judge a book by its cover, especially when it comes to John Gruber.
Gruber starting to take more chances near the end of round 3, coming inside as the bell sounds to end the third. Taking a look at the action here from round number 3.
Hines scoring with that lead left. throwing really, really great crisp combinations at the beginning of that round. But Gruber making it awkward in there, showing his grit. Hasn't quite found an answer. I don't think he's won a round yet, but he's not making it easy. He's making Hines think before he acts.
Gruber getting some advice from his lead trainer, Aaron Bernardo. As we get going for round number 4, Jonathan Gruber trying to pick up his first win outside of New England. And over the second half of the I think it'd be beneficial and advantageous for Ronnie Hines. Again, it's all about style and picking up a win in a variety of ways. If he could take more chances, he's already established that he can fight at a certain distance and fight effectively. But it's about now maybe taking more chances, coming a little bit closer with Gruber.
Yeah, I mean, you could take Gruber out. Piratone took him out in 5. Gruber was game in that fight as well, but Piratone eventually overwhelmed him. I think that's the litmus test here, or the measuring stick. And so you want to see Hines, try to take it up a level here in this round or the next.
Can Hines step on the gas here in the second half of this fight? Gruber meets him with a left hand as Hines seemed like he was approaching Gruber inside. And a reset from Hines, the middle of the ring. Gruber is switching back to southpaw.
It's funny. I want to see Hines step it up, but then at the same token, I do appreciate this patient approach that he has, where he's looking for his openings because he's finding them.
It's a double-edged sword. You don't want to fault a fighter for maybe trying to be too overzealous and try to do a little bit extra here, especially when he feels like he's in full control, but it is about style at this level. And Gruber contests that was a low blow.
Not sure.
Arthur Mercante getting in the middle of those two, and he orders Ronnie Hines to go to the corner.
Oh, they're getting right back into it, so.
Just over a minute to go here in round 4 between Hines and Gruber. Ronnie Hines in the red and black trunks, Gruber in the blue and white.
Mercante again issuing a warning to kind of a backslapping jab that Hines is throwing.
Good counter right from Gruber. Two heavyweights grabbing the attention of everybody here at Edison Ballroom in this small ring. Hines coming inside just a little bit, landing with the right hand. Gruber countering. This has been an effective distance for Ronnie Hines. Gruber, though, trying to make something happen in small spurts. Again, this developing into a chess match in the second half of this fight,
which I think benefits Gruber, quite frankly. I've been talking all fight about the patient approach, but I think Hines has got to pick it up. When he came out in the last round, that first 30 seconds with those combos, best moments of the fight.
The action slowing down in round 4 as we take a look at some of the action from the 4th round between Gruber and Hines.
Sneaky.
You're going to need to see more blitzes like that from Jonathan Gruber if he's going to want to come away victorious here.
Yep.
It's ironic. Feels like both fighters a little bit reluctant to go fully in on one another, but the advantage in that scenario definitely goes to Hines with that long reach.
Well, 6-round fight, so 2 rounds to go. If they're going to start to air it out, now is the time. Oh,
Gruber being checked out by the doctor to start round number 5.
don't see any real issue here. What are we looking at?
He did have his eyes closed in his corner between the rounds, but you didn't notice anything out of the ordinary as we do get going here with the action in round 5. Again, scheduled for 6. Ronnie Hines in the red and black trunks. Gruber in the blue and white, taking some chances here, trying to get inside on the 6'6" Hines, who's taken advantage of that reach and the size as well.
Hines going to that body again, which I'd like to see. Ooh, nice right hook there by Gruber, but doesn't really, I mean, actually, Hines nodding, saying, okay, yeah, you got me.
This fight so far all about timing on both ends. Gruber looking for a seam to come inside. Hines, though, content at fighting at this pace and at this distance. He's trying to improve to 13-0-1. But, again, it's that question. Do you want to keep continuing at what's been effective, or do you want to try and win in spectacular fashion if you're Ronnie Hines?
I think coming off that majority decision draw, he's got to come in and make a statement in a fight like this. And he's winning the fight. Is he making a statement? I'm not sure.
You could argue, again, he's showcasing his ability to box a little bit.
For sure. I've been just contradicting myself this whole fight, by the way.
It's the essence of this fight.
I like the patient approach.
Yeah.
He's not doing enough.
A little bit of blood on the face of Gruber near the left side of his nose. One thing's for sure, whether or not you agree with the approach of Ronnie Hines in keeping this distance, not going for the big punches inside, he's showing really good footwork throughout this fight.
Yes. Very, very athletic fighter. Lots of potential. You can see the potential for sure.
Throwing that jab at will. That one landing upstairs on Gruber. This fight has been filled with reluctance and hesitation on both ends. Final 10 seconds of round number 5. Gruber trying to step on the gas. 5th round ends. And with 1 round to go, Hines again in control. Quick reminder, you see the QR code on the left side of your screen. You can queue up that code and donate to our veterans that were helping out here. Heroes on the Hudson, benefiting the MVP group, merging vets and players in the West Point Society of New York.
I got to tell you, I'm a fan of Jonathan Gruber. He doesn't have the best skill set you'll ever see in a heavyweight, but he does not give up. He's a grinder. He's gritty. But having said all that, I'd like to see Hines make a statement here. Put the division on notice a little.
6th and final round. Is there some merit to that undefeated record for the 6'6" heavyweight out of Ohio? Ronnie Hines in the red and black trunks so far has been in control. Jonathan Gruber can turn this match upside down with the power of one punch. The opportunities have been limited. Gruber has been reluctant to take those chances as Hines lands a straight left hand on the chin, and he turns it against Gruber.
One of the best punches of the fight for Hines. You're right, though, about Hines' footwork. He's very athletic for a man of his size. Nice sharp jabs still coming out in the 6th round.
Jabs to the body and some jabs upstairs have been serving Hines well tonight. And again, the height advantage of Hines evident right there. All he has to do is take a couple of steps back to negate those jab attempts from Jonathan Gruber. Hines winding up, missing with the left hand.
It almost seems like Hines is like a little bit caught between styles, whether he wants to be a boxer or wants to be a puncher, at least in this round.
He does keep his hands low. And you definitely want to see him higher. If you're in his corner, you want to see him maybe surge inside a bit. But also, he knows he's in control there.
Correct.
So maybe that could be a reason why those hands are lowered.
Just takes one, especially in the heavyweight division.
To credit Ronnie Hines for really putting himself in quality position throughout this fight. But again, if you're judging on style points, there's a lot left to be desired between these two as Gruber lands with a check left hook. Ronnie Hines motioning like he could go another couple of rounds here. Again, this is the 6th and final round between Gruber and Hines. Ronnie Hines, 12-0-1, perhaps on his way to improving to 13-0-1. Jonathan Gruber, make no mistake, he comes to win. This is his 2nd appearance on Broadway Boxing, and he has more than held his own.
Bloody but undeterred. I have a feeling you'll see Gruber again.
Another one.